Okay, in this demonstration, we are going to show how to configure a product in UScan. This is the routine analysis software. So to begin, we will take a look at the user interface. So we've got a copy of UScan that's visible here on the screen, and I'm going to go through the steps of configuring a project. So first thing we need to do is to get into the administrative section of the software. Before I get there, I want to show everybody that if you click the question mark, the help button up here at the top part of the user interface, you can get to a quick start guide and an operation manual. The quick start guide gives you basically step-by-step instructions of what I'm going to do right now. The operation manual will go into each one of the different settings in much more detail than this introductory video will. So I encourage everybody to use these resources. Okay, so now we need to get into the administrative section of the software. I will press the configuration button. The username and password is admin, lowercase for both. And you can see that I get into the administrative section. So we've got three different methods or groups of settings that we are going to be configuring to build a product. We will make a scan method, a calibration method, and then we will use those two to put together a product. Okay. Each one of these groups of settings or methods are laid out very similarly. They've got a list of the existing methods over here in a list box. In the lower left, we've got add, edit, and delete options for the methods. On the lower right, we've got save and cancel. And in the middle, we've got a work area, which has got various tabs that allow us to configure these methods. So we'll go ahead and make a scan method. Scan method describes how the instrument should be collecting the raw data, the information from the sample. So for all of our methods, we will click on the green plus button. We will give it a name. Generally, for the scan method, we use a name that reflects the cup type. And we end up making one scan method per cup type in general within UScan. So I'm going to configure a scan method for cup type, and then I will proceed over into the work area to make sure all of the settings are correct. So we'll use the multi-cup adapter. In general, we always use step rotation. This provides the most stable and repeatable way of measuring your sample. We will rotate the sample cup through one full rotation. We will select the large cup here. And if we click over to the tab, we will keep timed reference method. That will be every 30 seconds. Set up here in global settings. And we'll keep the default number of sample scans at 12. Okay, so we've got that all set up. We've pressed the green save button here, and you can see that we've made a scan method for the large cup. All products within this instance of UScan that use the large cup can point to this single scan method. So we're done configuring for the large cup. So the next step is to proceed to the calibration method. Calibration method is laid out the same, and the calibration method holds the calibration file, the PRD, along with all of the settings how to use that PRD file. So the steps are the same. We click the green plus button. We will call this demo. The UScan software comes with some demo files for testing for practice. So I will just use those for this demonstration. So we'll give demo as the calibration method name, and we will go in and we will click this browse button, and we will click to the Unity model directory, and you can see that there's a demo file here, xpdemo.prd. So one thing I'd like to note is that before you are configuring a calibration method, it's very useful if you put your PRD files into that directory, the Unity models directory. That's the default where the software looks for them, and it just makes for easier configuration. So we'll put in a quick description. This is for bookkeeping. This is for your use also. We'll just call this one demo file. And then we move through the tabs from left to right. So if we click on constituents, these are the constituents that came in through that PRD, the model file. And these are the ones that have been created to be displayed to your users. If you need to edit those or change the order, you can use this edit button right here. If you need to do any moisture corrections, change the moisture basis of the model to a different reported basis. That is enabled here. UScan allows you to go from any single moisture basis to any other one. So this is well explained in the operation manual. For our purposes, we don't need to do that. Similarly with the transfer file, this is if you need to, for some reason, match your instrument to another instrument type. In general, we don't use this for the XPs because TAS aligns our instruments close enough that we don't need a model file or transfer file. So we will not use that in this demonstration either. And finally, there are outlier limits. So these are different limits that can be calculated based on the model. So the GD and ND are global distance and neighborhood distance. These are based on the spectra. The Z-test is based on the predictions, and the X residual is a much more sensitive test based on the spectra. Recommend that you use the default for all of these to start with, but these can be adjusted if needed based on the models that you're using. Okay, we've gone through all the tabs, and we can go down and press the green, the save button, and you can see that we've saved our calibration method. The final step is to create a product. And the rules of a product are that you need one scan method and one or more calibration method to build a product. So we will go to the green plus, the add again. We will call the product demo. And again, we need one scan method, one or more calibration methods. We're only going to select one for this. And then we're going to proceed again through the tabs from left to right. So the first one is sample naming. There are options here. We're just going to use the first one, which is just an open text field that we can just type in our name. But there are auto increment names and even some programmable names. Product settings, things like, do you want to send your data automatically to an external system like a LIMS or print a report? Or if you want to do repacks, if you've got a very non-homogeneous sample type and you want to take multiple looks at the sample, you can set that up here. We're going to use the default. Slope intercept corrections. This is an adjustment to the result. Generally, we don't use slope ever, unless you've got a really good reason to do it. But the intercept then is just a bias, and this could be used to match the results on the NIR to your local reference method. So if you need to make any changes through your validation process, you can just double click on the value here, enter a bias, press enter on your keyboard, and it will be saved in here. Product limits. Product limits are useful if you want to run with an SPC or a control chart, or you want your results screen to show pass fails, and it will turn your results green, orange, or red, depending on where they fit with your product limits. So per constituent, it allows you to make a target, center value, low and upper warnings, and low and upper actions. So again, this is very useful for SPC charts. Display parameters allows you to show extra information in your results display. So we're going to make one here. We're going to call it distances only. This is pretty common. Or some of our customers do not show any extra displays. But distances only, this would be a global distance and a neighborhood distance. So I will put checkboxes into there. I will save this, and now distances only is available as a profile for our display parameters. So I'll click to select that one. User information fields. User information fields are meta tags or extra fields that can be used to track information available per sample at the time of analysis. So this might be the operator that analyzed the sample, a truck number, a purchase order number, a customer name, a supplier, anything like that. And you can set up these fields to be just text entry or combo drop-down in global settings, and then you can enable them on a product-by-product basis. So we're not going to enable those, but all of this is in the operation manual. So for this demonstration, we will not use any of those. And finally, the groups. This is how your product is stored and displayed in the listing of products. So we will keep it in the main product category or folder, and we will look down here, and we will just pick one of the product icons. Number 1. Okay. So this will then be saved. So we now have a product that is saved, and it's ready for analysis. If I click back to the main screen, you can see if I go into the Select Product button, I can click Select Product, open up my main category, find the demo product, and I am ready to analyze. And that is the end of this demonstration. Thank you.